Good morning. So Jesus tells his disciples in today's passage to take on his yoke. He also says that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. So we will reflect on this yoke that Jesus is offering. What is this yoke? And why does he say that this yoke is easy? His burden is light. Are there other yokes which are heavy? Are there other burdens which are heavy? So compared to his burden or the yoke is offering to people, he's saying his yoke is light, his burden is light. So are there other yokes? Are there other burdens that are heavy? Let us investigate. Commentators said that yoke refers to the law or the commandments of God. The law or the commandments are there first as a list of agreement or commitment to maintain that covenant relationship between God and the Israelites. And second function of the law, to guide the Israelites in their religious and moral life. You want to be holy? Check the Ten Commandments. You want to be moral? Check the law, check the commandments. Now, over the years, some well-intentioned religious leaders and experts rigorously interpreted, appropriated, and embellished the law so that the Ten Commandments grew into 614 more. And in those 614 provisions, for each provisions, there are sub-provisions. So there can be thousands. So the Pharisees and scribes prided themselves in their observance of the law. They were strict and rigid in imposing these laws to the common people, even as they themselves fell short or failed in obeying them. So what happened? The law, that expanded law, became a heavy burden to carry for the common people, complicated by the rigid interpretation and application by the religious leaders. The yoke, therefore, of the Pharisees and scribes therefore were heavy for the common people, while that of Jesus, his yoke, is easy. Let me explain. Jesus will simplify the following of the law. When he was asked what is the greatest commandment, he said, love God with all your heart, with all your mind, etc., and love your neighbor as you love yourself. So these expanded 614 commandments with all their sub-provisions are practically reduced by Jesus to just one commandment. And what is that one commandment? Love. So the essence of the law is love. The core of the law is love. Love of God, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Majority, by the way, of the 614 commandments are about prohibitions. Do not do this. Mga bawal na gawin. The Sabbath law, for example, has numerous instructions on what you cannot do. What you cannot do on Sabbath day. Do not walk for more than number of steps, certain number of steps. Do not heal. Do not prepare food. Do not heat the food. Do not boil. Do not lift a full glass. Do not light a fire. You are not allowed to write. Do not dig. Do not handle money, etc. In fact, if you've been to the Holy Land, we have in all hotels there, they have what they call Sabbath elevator. And what is a Sabbath elevator? The Sabbath elevator stops in each room automatically on a Sabbath. And what is the purpose? So that a religious Jew do not have to lift his finger to press the button. Bawal on a Sabbath. Just lifting your hand and pressing a button on an elevator. You do not do that on a Sabbath. Ganon ka-rigid. Ganon ka-rigid. The more prohibitions, the more rules and laws, the better. And Jesus will ask people to shy away from mindless compliance with the law and ask them to go to the heart of the law, which is love, as I mentioned. He will not just ask you what you cannot do, but He will ask you what you can do to manifest God's love. And that is obedience to God's commandments. If you are able to say and do something that will manifest God's love, that is fulfillment of the law. Not just blind compliance to the many prohibitions, many rules and guidelines. Jesus will put emphasis on the weightier matters of God's commandment. Love, justice, peace, faithfulness, mercy, respect, and more. Diba one time He said, "It is mercy I desire, not sacrifice." The Pharisees and scribes focused on the letter of the law, which was a heavy burden to carry for the people. And Jesus focused on the spirit of the law. And what is the spirit of the law? To manifest God's love, which is light to carry. So today, Jesus offers you His yoke. He's inviting you to carry the burden that is light. A yoke that is easy, a burden that is light. Following Christ is not a heavy burden, because love is never a heavy burden. Amen.